This is the tree of life. The whole thing is the seed of life, tree of life, all that good stuff, right? But the part that's highlighted in itself is the tree of life. And it starts from Malkuth up to, don't let me lie. I want to say Zephyr, but don't let me lie. Zephyr might even be the very next one. But all of these are different stages of existence and or dimensions. And we technically live in Malkuth. This is the stage of physicality between here and here. Right? And these are the different stages of evolution. And these pathways kind of help you get there and shit. And there's more to that. Those are akin to the ley lines that are on the planet. Yeah, I mean, you know what ley lines are?
No.
You haven't heard of ley
I've
lines?
never heard of the ley lines.
Oh my lord. Okay, so besides the Kabbalion.
Yes, this is so exciting.
Right. Besides this.
Do an introduction.
Oh. Okay.
And then let me grab a notebook.
So I'm not good with like talking about myself for real. My name is Cyn. I'm astrologer and just all around real nerd. You know what I mean? I'm a scientist, so I like facts. But facts are subjective at the same time, so always keep that in mind. All right, so ley lines. That's what we're talking about. Ley lines. Okay, so ley lines are basically the energy meridians of the earth, right? And they are a macrocosm of our own chakra connectivities, because the 7 chakras that we talk about aren't even like all of the main ones, and definitely not all of the chakras. There are many little chakras throughout our entire body, and there's different little connective ways, and these little connections can be akin to the ley lines that are on the earth. And there are chakra points on the earth, higher energy vortexes that attract certain types of, well, frequencies is a better way to say that, right? But the ley lines themselves have a certain amount of energy and carry energy. You can draw from that, and things are drawn to that because of the flow of energy that's going on. So along ley lines, you'll see a lot of monuments and cities and different shit like that. You'll see UFO sightings. You'll see other different kind of phenomenon that tend to occur along ley lines. That name comes from, if I remember correctly, it comes from an actual person's name who kind of quote unquote discovered them and or theorized about them. And don't let me get the line about how they quantified their theory, right? Like, definitely some tests was made, reading energies, different little things like that. But ley lines is not even, it's not just esoteric. Science knows about it. This is a definitive. And as I said, monuments throughout the ages follow these ley lines, taking from their energy. It's to connect a worldwide web of, well, just universal energy is the easiest way to say it, right? There's a web that envelops the earth. And this web is being sustained by these ley lines.
And the ley lines are literally like the spider webs.
That's a great way to look at it.
Okay.
That's a great way to look at it. And there are stronger points within that spider web, and then there's the center, right? And the spider itself can move along that web. Well, when the spider has babies, they know how to move along that web too. And just think of the main spider as the earth itself. It created the ley lines, and we navigate across them. We could either use them to our benefit, or we can go out and kind of do our own shit and kind of create lesser versions that may or may not become as strong, but you have to build that shit up, right? But as we're here, we can draw from that energy. The energy's already built up. There might already be a whole fly sitting there type shit, right? And the earth has that. We just mainstream doesn't focus on that shit, but they definitely know about it.
That's wild. Is that part of the Matrix? That whole... Would that be parallel to it?
To a degree. I'm going to just say this from my opinion. It helps sustain the gateway, or is the gateway between the matrix and whatever's beyond that. I'll just use that word. I don't want to get into what is beyond that or anything like that. So whatever we call the matrix or living in this reality, that is the first of undeniable gateways that we have. Is it the matrix? No. Does it sustain the matrix? No. It's literally like a doorway within a house.
Wow.
Yeah, not even a doorway, more like a window. Yeah. We can go as deep as you
high
need
right
to.
now.
Yeah, so we can go as deep as you need to. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I want to keep
talking
going
about
deeper.
artists.
I
I'm
want to
talking about
back
artists.
up a little bit.
So back up to what? What we talking?
Man, that's like my mind is just trying to, like, I can tell it's trying to keep up so badly, like, and process everything that's being said. Frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
Landline.
Ley. L-E-Y.
Ley line.
Yeah,
Yes.
L-E-Y.
Ley line. These frequencies, we can access them.
Yes.
And are they at a frequency? What does that frequency feel like? Like, how would you describe it as to how it would affect us when we access it?
I don't think an individual can describe another individual's experience for anything that's higher vibrational. Not even just higher vibrational. There are things that we experience every day, and or especially as a child we were aware of every day, that we have become numb to, we have put out as background noise, different little things like that, right? It's about tuning yourself into silence and realizing what's beyond that.
Holy shit, hold on. Can you repeat that, please?
It's about tuning yourself into silence and then figuring out or listening to what's beyond that. And all that means is, and part of what I'm saying is just my understanding of my teachings. This isn't one understanding or something you could just look up. After silence, after complete darkness, there's more. Everything that we perceive is subjected to the frequencies in which we are attuned to. Well, there are higher and lower frequencies. And many things exist within these frequencies. No different than turning a radio station. Might be country on one station, might be country on 10 stations. But you done clicked into 12, 15 stations. How many times did you hit static? Because nobody was on that particular frequency. And or using the language that you're looking for. You hear static doesn't mean ain't nothing there. But even within that, there is empty space to a degree, right? So you can be tuned into something that's not exactly happening. Say, I was to astral project while you were sleeping. What am I going to witness but your sleeping body? There's nothing going on. Now, let's say my perception had everything to do with your moving body. What would I see? Nothing. Because you're not moving. Doesn't mean you're not there. No. But you're not vibrating. That frequency isn't activated. So that, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to get into a few different rabbit holes. I'm going to get into a few different rabbit holes.
But, yeah, so you mentioned that something exists between the frequencies.
So things exist within, between, and without.
Wow.
But that's some other shit, right? The easiest way to always look at it, really, is just to go back to the radio thing. Mm-hmm. You can be on FM flipping through the stations, and you're looking for a specific genre. So you don't care what country's playing if you're looking for jazz. You're going to skip past that. Right. You just hear news, you'll skip past that. All that shit exists. You don't notice it. Kind of like a human walking along the street doesn't notice an ant. It's not vibrating on a frequency where I need to give a fuck. Right? Right. But this other human is in my way. I'm going to move out the way for it. You're in my frequency just enough for me to, okay, now I'm back to my shit. And then there's another human that's going the same way as you, or wearing a coat that you like, or having a conversation about something that you had a conversation about, or that you're attracted to. And these are different levels of frequency that we are attracted to. No different than looking for that station. So you're walking around, and that first person was jazz. That first person was country. That second person was a blog station, and then that next person was rock, but it was soulful. So they took your attention a little bit more. But then that jazz motherfucker came, and now you're really looking. You know what I mean? This is the kind of shit that we deal with every day. We just don't think of it that way because it looks like a sponge, a chair, a black person, a banana, whatever, right? It looks like this, but it's still all frequency, regardless. Mm-hmm. So going back to the radio station, you could be looking for whatever you want on FM. AM still exists. Right. And all that shit is still happening, even whether you're tuned into it or not.
And this is like on a spiritual like knowledge or like a spiritual essence that we're talking about.
Right.
That we can experience.
Right. This is transferable to any religion, the prayers that we say, down to why we don't fall through the floor. Things are vibrating at a certain frequency, and these frequencies affect, repel, attract, whatever, each other. This is the basic universal law of the matrix that we live in.
Interesting.
That is, or one of 7 principles, the Hermetic principles. About you, how long that? Up in that motherfucker, right? That law of vibration, frequency, is how to understand why even magic works. Our words are vibrating and interacting with existence. Once you hit certain frequencies and or certain combination of frequencies, they have an effect. No different than some notes sound good together and some don't, right? You say certain shit together, it affects nature. All magic is being able to speak to nature and manipulate it to your will. That's all magic
is. Magic is being able to speak to nature
and manipulate it to your will. And or a better way to even say it, what a druid would say is ask nature for its help to create more reality.
Oh, I like that. Developing almost a relationship in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Not even in one sense developing, yes. And that's just because we have to relearn certain shit. When we're born, we forget certain shit. All right, cool. Different rabbit hole. But developing that trust outside of yourself that it's still a representation of yourself, what you're dealing with, whatever you're dealing with, it's a representation of yourself, regardless. And when you trust in that to a pure degree, you begin to see loopholes and you begin to see almost like the man's hand in the puppet. We know Kermit ain't real, but we love Kermit. We love Kermit, right? But there's that man behind Kermit. And you begin to see that. And then now you can talk to that man. You know what I mean? Or you can appreciate what the man represents and what Kermit represents. There's so many different ways to look at it, but you have to know the man exists before you can see what's going on. And that's all we're trying to do. We're trying to, let me say try. When dealing with frequency, in order to understand it, you have to understand that there's always something lesser and greater. And accepting that you're only perceiving a part of the story is the only way to appreciate where you're at and to go further.
So our life is directly connected with something on a much larger scale that we're only seeing a piece of or experiencing a piece of.
So, okay, even visible light spectrum. Out of the whole known light spectrum, the visible light spectrum is about this much. But we know all these other different spectrums, infrared, X-ray, etc., right? But we see here out of this whole thing.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And that's just of the shit that we know of. I'm just gonna leave it at that. like to go any further, like I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like there's what we're perceiving can only be part of the story. There's something that always stuck with me as a kid when I was in church. You can't speak the name of God or it will destroy you. It never made sense to me until I started learning about vibration. Opera singers break glass if they reach that frequency. Certain shit will just obliterate. The energy is too strong. It can't hold it. If you put boiling water in a really thin glass, what's going to happen? That's going to shatter. Right? It's no different than when we speak words. Like I said, going back to prayer, it's a vibration that does shit within you. Saying certain shit affects your body. We are 70% water. Water is very influenced by vibration, and there are different experiments you can look up online that deal with people speaking the water, saying good things to it, saying bad things to it, and freezing it and seeing the crystals. And the good things make these beautiful geometric patterns, and the bad things, not so much. And this is consistent. And these patterns are consistent with certain frequencies, vibrations that we, thresholds, as it were, right? So even speaking these words, you affect your body, you affect your mood. When we listen to music, all these different things affect us. So even saying prayer, it puts you in a state of being. These prayers actually have power. In every language, there's been tests. And these prayers are of the same vibration. Especially of the Abrahamic religions, right? The Lord's Prayer and don't let me get the misnaming the other shit that's equivalent to that. Have the same exact vibrations, whether it's spoken in Arabic, English, Hebrew, etc. There's a specific vibration that's accessed, and that in itself has a specific effect.
Wait a minute. So our words literally carry a vibration that is, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's a powerful force in the universe.
Yes. So English in itself is a magical, mystical slave language that's meant to keep people confused. But that's a different rabbit hole. Take the word, right? I'm telling you, we're dotted around like gophers. You know what I mean?
This is beautiful.
So take the word spell, right? Even in that, well, what do we call magic? Spells. How do you make a word? You spell it.
Right.
When we speak, we are speaking spells all day. This is not a coincidence. This is just something they know you're not going to think about. This is something they can put right in front of you and tell you the truth, but no, you're not going to understand it.
So when we talk about they, are we talking about the originators of like the language?
No. And yes.
Okay,
no. Let me actually answer your question without being the asshole, right? The day that I most notably speak of is a day that attempts to abhor natural law. I'm saying it that way for a reason. That can't be argued. Almost anything else I say would be likened to conspiracy, conjecture, whatever. But anybody who denies that there is a definitive cognitive push towards natural law, natural progression, they themselves are either caught within it or of the problem. And I'd love to hear somebody argue that.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. So vibrations, frequencies, our essence, our aura.
And just for the audience, for the recording, for the audience, right? What is the difference between vibration and frequency? Vibration is a rate in which something is moving, oscillating back and forth, right? Frequency is the numeric value, the threshold, whatever that we give to that vibration. So 440, everybody knows 444, 440 hertz, whatever like that. Those are the frequency. That frequency is measuring a vibration of 444 oscillations back and forth. So that is the difference between frequency and vibration. Just to put that one out there.
I like it. I like it a lot. Thank you for breaking that down.
Word.
Oh, what are we at? 23.
That's not bad. It's not too bad at all. I felt like I was talking my ass.
That was beautiful. I like that.
This episode brought to you slightly in by Absolute, because we're bringing you the absolute truth around this mug.
The absolute truth.
It's close to possible.
Yes.
Perception issue.
Until the next episode.
Peace.